In this session, we will look at some new features from TestProject. The main feature automatically self-heals a failed test. In this screenshot, it shows how the execution method can be serial or parallel. Plus, we can re-execute the failed test up to 5 times in a job. If the test passes after a rerun, then the test will be marked as passed with a heart healing icon. In addition to the self-healing feature, TestProject has a feature to report the progress of our execution. We also have access to information about our local agent, such as connected devices, local test execution, and the number of tasks the agent can perform. Now I am going to demonstrate some of those features from TestProject. The first step is to create a job by clicking New Job. Select Web, and I'm going to name it, how about Test Rerun Healing Feature. Then go ahead and click Next. At this point, we can select our browser, and I will select Chrome as the browser. You see we have those two options of serial and parallel. Both options allow us to rerun a failed test. If I click this checkbox, we see we can execute up to 5 times, but I'm going to click serial and select 2, then create. Now after we create, the next step is to drag and drop our tests into the job. How about 3 tests? Testing hybrid offline, dynamic test 2, and dynamic test. Now I will modify the dynamic test to fail on purpose so we can see it self-heal. So I'm going to click dynamic test. How about step 2? Then click the element icon, and at this point we have 3 locators, 2 for XPath and 1 for CSS selector. I will update the first test and change it from 4 to 5. Then I'm going to go ahead and save the element and also save and exit. At this point, I thought I clicked save and exit. Okay, bingo. Now at this point, let's go ahead and run the job and see what happens. This icon in the top right are those other 2 features I was talking about. We have access to information about our local agent. The workers shows the number of tasks that can be performed. Notice how when you get this 4, it turns red, but 3, 2, and 1 is green. It turns red because it shows the performance has been increased or can be increased. We see connected devices and local execution. Show and monitor is the part that shows us the execution progress. And at this point, we're at 95%. We can see the latest executions, also the scheduled jobs. So when it's finished, I will go to the report and show you the heart healing icons that shows up. And the latest executions will show the report that we just ran. I click the icon to view the report. And we see it shows 67%, which means 2 out of 3 pass. There's only 1 failure. And we see right here, dynamic test, it passed. But notice it have a heart icon for steps 2 and 3. Click the heart icon, which identifies the step was self-healed. And I'm going to expand to look at the details. And notice the details show that the original locator was not found. It also has a message that says, don't sweat. This step was self-healed by TestProject's AI. Okay, and go to step 3, and it has the same information because it's the same element about how the locator was not found, but it was self-healed by TestProject. Okay, now at this point, let's view the other tests that failed, that really failed, which is dynamic test 2. Click the screenshot icon and we see how it failed because the site cannot be reached. Therefore, the self-healing would not work because the site just cannot be reached. It had the wrong URL. The test that passed was the test hybrid offline. At this point, we see how this report shows the self-healing icon, but also the full report shows the self-healing icon as well. But before the full report, let's look at the summary report. Open when done, and it shows a summary of the failures. 2 passed, dynamic test and testing hybrid offline, but dynamic test failed. And we see here that dynamic test has a note about the retries. And it shows that this test has failed after we run it additionally 2 times. And that's the one that failed because of the URL was not correct, which shows the site cannot be reached. Now, let's view the full report, which shows the self-healing icons. Bingo. Okay, it also shows that 2 passed and 1 failed. Testing hybrid offline, all of the steps passed. This one here, it shows the one that failed, but the last test will show us the heart icons for steps 2 and 3, that it was self-healed. That's it for the new features for TestProject, the self-healing results passed. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next session.